Reyna, thank you so much for being here. Please share your story.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me here, Ruben and Daryl. It's really is a pleasure to be your guest today. So, my name is Reyna Aufiero, and I am the founder of Frontline Medical Group LLC. We are based here in Massachusetts, and I also work as a full-time bedside nurse currently in one of the hospital, and at the same time running the business. And I initially pursued my degree in architecture and work in the field in building design for a couple of years. And after 9/11, I decided I wanted to be a bedside nurse, so I made that happen. And I am now a practicing bedside nurse for, I would say, 19 years. And during pandemic, I was actually working at the hospital. And with that having said, we have a lot of nurses, travel nurses that are, I would say, are getting paid less compared to what the agencies are making. So I kind of like take that as an opportunity to, what can I do for nurses to be able to, make sure that they get compensated well, and because we are in the front line. So a couple of my colleague and I, we talk about opening a business, and here we are 3 years later. And we are proud that we are covering basically the area of Massachusetts to Rhode Island to Connecticut. And we have clients that we develop a relationship over time and gain their trust. And I think we stand by that. We have nurses that's been traveling with us since 2022, and because they're bedded well and suited for our clients, so they are being renewed after renewal. So I think I can speak to that we pick the right nurses that's suited for the needs for our clients.
No,
So
that's great, Reyna. Thank you so much for being here. So if you would please share, like, what kind of, obviously you still have have your full time, which is great, and you have your business. What kind of freedom has that created for you since you built that business up?
So, I have to say, we're Filipino here. I am the sole financial support from my family back home. I'm the only one here. All of my families are back home, so I support them financially. So I have been working, doing a lot of overtime, sometimes 50 to 60 hours a week, and it's not sustainable. And as I get older, I notice all this back pains and all that stuff. So I decided to basically open a business, a staffing agency, which it was for me, it was like the best decision that I've ever made. Although I still work at the hospital, but I don't do a lot of overtime anymore. I do have a lot of help right now. I hired two virtual assistant that does the back ends of my work, and recruiters here in Massachusetts as well. And so I'm working, but I'm not working.
Right.
And so I'm able to basically spend more time with my children, and I'm able to do exercise, spend time for myself, do what I wanted to do, exercise, do my hobbies and all that stuff. And at the same time, I'm not that stressed and worried about bills because, I adjusted my lifestyle to what I can afford, and with the help of the business as well. So I'm able to help other people, even back home, to actually, I hired them full time as well. So with that, I think that's a big factor for me, and that's a big advantage for my lifestyle at the moment. And
Amazing.
and of course, so our goal is to, or the bulk of the rate for the nurses, because we are the front line, right? So, so what we do is we make sure that our cost are less. We spend less, and we don't have offices. We work from home, so we're able to give more money to our nurses, believe it or not. And of course, we charge also our client a low cost as well. So it's a win-win situation for everyone, actually. So, and I think it's, you know, I'm happy to like hear when a nurse told me like, Reyna, since I work with you, I was able to fix my bathroom or my kitchen. And,
Mm,
or some of them would say, I didn't have to pick up overtime anymore. So I think that's a blessing to hear and be a part of that improvement in their life as well. So
100%.
very proud of
We're
that.
100%. Yeah. So in a nutshell, the building your business has created freedom through increasing quality of life, right? So I yeah, it's always ironic for me when I meet a business owner who's worked so hard to have a business, but they don't have a life. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's important to, we're human beings, or not, it's like that saying goes, it's like, we don't live to work, we work to live. We're going to kick off the questioning for Ron and Reyna, because I think there's just so much to find out, so much to discover from what we've already seen and heard from them. So one of the things that I want to mention, and I want to ask, what was kind of like the driver for you to do that? Because, as you know, obviously you probably already knew that you'd be giving them work, because if it wasn't for you giving them work, then they would have to get work for themselves. Like, can you tell us a little bit more about like why a staffing agency as opposed to something else that you could have started?
I think it's just because my trade as a nurse, and like I said, I have worked as well and traveled locally when I was a new grad. And I did that combination to work and employed at the hospital and travel at the same time. And I know that traveling pays you a little bit more. But during pandemic, I think that the traveling agency company, screw themselves by overcharging organizations. And also, they are paying nurses less money. So that drives me crazy when I found that it was just excessive market or markup from the nurses, while the nurses are actually in the front line doing all the job.
Yeah.
And so it made me thinking, what can I do to basically change this? And I know we are a small company at the moment, but I think that it doesn't matter how small we are, it matters how we impact individual.
Hmm.
And I started with one nurse, and now we are actually employed over 20 nurses. So we hire nurses, physical therapy, LPNs. And again, they've been with us since 2022. And just because we vet them according to what our client needs, and they're happy with our nurses, so they're being renewed after renewal after renewal. And with that said, so we want to make sure that our overhead costs are less. And actually, every time I needed to spend something like a program or a full job boards or something like that, I always have to be mindful of how much it costs, because I feel like, can I give more to my nurses if I pay this much? Or if I want to buy a new computer or something like that, do I really need a computer at the moment? Or do I need to hire more people to do this? Or can I just give this portion of the money to my nurses instead of doing things? So I always think about how to be cost effective for me to actually execute what I wanted to happen. And I'm proud to say we are actually one of the top paying agency in Massachusetts. And I can be very picky because I still have a job at UMass, so, here in Massachusetts, I mean. So I can be picky with my nurses. So I just don't take any nurses. I want to make sure that my clients are happy with them as well, and they also do the job. So, and
That's
I always tell my nurses that, we don't want to be a one-time traveler for the organization. We want it to be the extended family that they never had. So it's always about the community, and I think that what you said earlier, Filipino are big on communities and family dynamics. So I'm here in the US by myself. I don't have a family member here except for my two children. So I long for that community all the time. I long for that family. And I think that people that are here should appreciate that. I have that family here. I don't, but I have a family. It's as a matter of choice, you
Yeah,
know.
well, you got a family now. You've met us, and we're gonna continue to invite you to
Right, right.
share as long as you want to be here. But one of the things I will say is there's a lot of similarities here, right? You and Ron have a different product, but at the same time, you're offering the best. I mean, come on, who's gonna deny that Filipinos have the best nursing care out there, right? Uh,
Right.
and now that I can honestly say, now that I know someone who can advocate for it, I can honestly say that Filipinos have the best coffee too. And I'm going to be an advocate just like Ron is. So that's yeah, man. You've sold me on that. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for answering the question, Reyna. That's amazing.
I just want to make a quick comment here, Ruben. With
Yeah.
with Reina, again, regarding how you were talking about your business and your way how you approach it, again, I really commend you on that, on how, you're focusing on taking care of your employees, on how you could pay them more. I don't hear it very often, and I've actually heard, it actually just came through a video on Instagram where a guy was like, every second of the month, I'm looking to fire people. He's like, by me firing 5 people last month, I made my business like 250,000. He's like, I got to take care of myself. And so again, it's really refreshing to hear your approach, and even something as simple as a laptop too is like, hey, wait, can I redistribute it to the people who are making this business happen and really providing the service to the level of quality you want. So yeah, great job on that. And if you can continue practicing that way, yeah, I just would love to encourage you more.
Awesome.
Thank you, Darren.
Awesome. Awesome. So really have a quick question, since I think a lot of the theme here is, representation. What is the one challenge that you experienced in building your company, and how did you come up from that? How did you work through that obstacle and that challenge? And Reina, if you could go first, that'd be great.
So I would say consistency and no means yes. That's always been my thing. So it took me 6 months before I was actually able to get my first contract. Um, but and my friend would always say, "It's like Raina, I don't know what you're doing, but um, they already said no." I said they rejected us, but that means yes. I said maybe no for now, but that means yes later. So I would say never give up. Consistency is the key. We have the power of AI at the moment that within our hands, so we use that collaboratively. Also, um, being personalized and being intentional with our nurses. So I think that altogether we have to acknowledge also that it is, like you said, Ruben, it's a lonely world in the entrepreneur world, but they are people that you meet in your life and they're there for a reason. And I would say, you know, you reap what you sow sometimes. You help them and they come back at you and then they do the same thing. And it's like a snowball effect. And I think that's basically what I have experienced. I've been very blessed with all the people that I have networked and put their trust in me that I can do it. And I think it's also I always believe in run your own race. Don't worry about other people. Those are noises in the background. I think that focus on yourself, focus on your goal, and be intentional. And the intention is always, I think, what's keeping me, pursue and then keep going. Because what am I doing this for? That without that great intention, I don't think I'll be able to survive opening a business on your own, let alone not having a family here to support you. But fortunately, Frontline became my family, and the people behind me became my family. So I'm very grateful and thankful for that.
No, that's great. Thank you so much, Reyna. I really, really appreciate you. You say you run your own race. I mean, that hits to my heart, right? Because that's why, I use the whole analogy of running and coaching people, because, oftentimes people look at other people and say, hey, they're way far ahead. I should stop. I just shouldn't even start. You know what I mean? And no, that's not the case. It's like everyone's running their own race, but we can all help each other finish the race. So
Right.
really, really appreciate you. So Reyna, if you could just share a takeaway that you have from being on the show, or maybe some last bit of maybe advice for anyone that might be watching and wants to get into the endeavor that you set out for yourself.
I guess I just like to say, we can all do it. And my mom would always say, your life is what you make it. And it's true. Mindset is everything. And my sincere hope is not to only inspire, but also to empower everyone in the community of nurses, healthcare providers, organizations, and the Filipino community. And I thank you guys for what you guys are doing. I've never really seen this sense of community before, and I appreciate it very much. I've never even knew you guys existed until just recently. So I thank you guys so much. I appreciate everything you guys do.
We appreciate you. We couldn't do it without you. So thank you so much for being here. Until next week, everyone. Maraming salamat. Thank you so much. Happy Friday.
Filipino, 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 Filipino. Hoy, pare, pakinggan